This morning, we deal with the new space race. In his famous 1962 speech announcing that the United States would land on the moon by decade's end, President John F. Kennedy said, "No nation which expects to be the leader of other nations can expect to stay behind in the race for space." Those words hold true today. We are delighted to have two witnesses who are helping to ensure that the United States maintains global leadership in space. The Honorable Jim Bridenstine, Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and Mr. Kevin O'Connell, Director of the Office of Space Commerce at the Department of Commerce. We are grateful to have you here, and thank you for your presence. Looking forward to your testimony. 2019 is an exciting year for space. July 20th will mark the 50th anniversary of the NASA Apollo 11 mission. I was in a dormitory in Oxford, Mississippi on that particular date, hard to believe, which landed humans on the moon and fulfilled President Kennedy's bold vision for human space exploration. By year's end, NASA Commercial Crew Program will be launching American astronauts from American soil and by American companies. NASA's flagship human exploration program, the Space Launch System, SLS, launch vehicle, and Orion spacecraft will likely achieve a number of milestones this year, including the core stage assembly and integration. That would be followed by test firing, the core stage at Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. The dedicated workforce and testing assets at Stennis show the importance of maintaining national space infrastructure and programs. We've entered into a new space race. This race is different from the one America won 50 years ago. The new space race has three dimensions. First, the United States must maintain its position as the international partner of choice for current and aspiring spacefaring nations. Strengthening international partnerships through cooperation on space endeavors enhances our prestige around the world. The International Space Station is a key part of the U.S. global leadership. But NASA's FY 2020 budget request proposes to end the funding for the ISS in 2025. Witnesses should detail opportunities to enhance space partnerships with other nations and demonstrate how the budget request supports those efforts. Secondly, America must maintain our position as the focal point for space commerce. We want space companies to be established and continue to grow in the United States. The global space industry is expected to grow from around $400 billion today to nearly $3 trillion over the next 2 decades. President Trump has supported the commercial space industry through policies to streamline regulations for launch, remote sensing, spectrum usage, and export control. In particular, I commend the Vice President's leadership of the National Space Council, which has achieved interagency consensus on critical issues and provided bold and clear direction on space policy. Perhaps Mr. O'Connell will address the current state of the industry and provide the committee with a progress report on meeting various space policy directives to promote the commercial space industry. Administrator Bridenstine should also address NASA's role in partnering with commercial providers and growing the industry. And third, as competition in commercial space heats up, we must stay ahead of rising space powers, notably China. Maintaining America's position as the preeminent spacefaring nation is the final dimension of the new space race. China's space program could represent a significant challenge to American leadership in space. A recent Defense Intelligence Agency report noted that China's space program supports both civil and military interests. In January, China became the first country to explore the far side of the moon. By 2025, China plans to complete its satellite navigation system rival to GPS, launch a rover to Mars, operationalize a space station, and begin building a moon base, among other ambitions. President Trump has provided clear direction for NASA to lead an innovative and sustainable program of exploration to enable human expansion across the solar system. He is right. I hope our witnesses will tell the committee how America can maintain an edge over foreign space programs and show how the budget request will help sustain American leadership in space. It is essential that we have consistency in policy, stable and sufficient funding, and a robust set of international and commercial partnerships to achieve these goals. Against a backdrop of international competition and a burgeoning space industry, the stakes articulated by President Kennedy more than half a century ago are even higher today. I look forward to working with my colleagues to help sustain America's space leadership, and chief among those are my friend and our ranking member, Senator Cantwell.